So one thing a lot of people have been asking about is the frame rates on the Apple TV version of Zwift in a bunch. I've joined an event and they're rolling out right now. So I'm capturing this up here. I'll do an overlay over here so we can have a look at what's going on. Oh, I've just missed the start. So let me rejoin the bunch here with view mode and we'll have a look at the frame rates we're getting here in the pack. So not a big bunch, but where I want to test it is in the dirt and gravel and the dust. If you're a Zwifter, you know what I'm talking about when all those particles come flying at you and the frame rates go down. So at the moment here, we're running at 30 frames a second. That's quite reasonable. Definitely not a pack of 200 or 300 like we saw in the HDR ride the other day. But let's see what they kick up on the ground. So again, just running through the view mode here. Double clicking brings up different views. 24 frames a second. Okay, chalk that one up for kind of weird. There was a 50-year-old dude in a four-wheel drive pumping Yothu Yindi flat out. The Aussies will get that, everyone else I'm not so sure. Anyhow, back to Zwift, 22 frames a sec. Again, this is not the biggest bunch. Let's get back up here. Alrighty. Through the dippers. So a lot of stuff going on the screen there. You can see the screen moving side to side like that. So a lot of stuff going on. Down to 22 frames a second. But look, this is playable. This is definitely playable. Somebody also asked the other day, if you take a snapshot in tvOS version of Zwift with this, without your phone, where does the file actually go? Now on the PC it goes into My Documents Zwift Pictures or something like that. On your phone, if you take a photo, it goes into your photo directory. On here, on the Apple TV, here, it goes into a weird folder that I had to get through via USB-C cable and using iExplore third party. I don't know what they're thinking, I don't know what's going to be there in the final product of where those screenshots go, but they are saved down here on the device. So around 23, 24 frames a second as you're riding along in a mid-sized bunch. A lot of complexity here with the bridge. Down to 19 frames a second, just touching on 19 frames a second, going through some people's legs. 19, 20 frames a second. So complex scenes like this, where there's a lot of trees and a lot of things shown. Still hovering 21, 22. Whoa, waterfall. But the dust is going to be the biggest test. Okay, so almost there on the dirt. I'll try and get to a rider at the back so we can cop all the dust. There we go. Frame rate around 21, 22, 23. Oh, someone's gone for a flyer and it's automatically changed my view. There we go. A lot of dust up on the screen. Down to 19 frames a second there, 21 frames a second. Might give us a better view from back here. Someone's putting out 350 watts, not bad. Okay, the screen keeps auto-changing for me. So not much impact there, going through the dust on frame rates with a bunch of less than 20. For a bunch that I rode with this morning with about 80 or 90 with the Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin ride for the Tour of California, we went through the dust and it wasn't a pretty picture at all. I couldn't even record it properly because the machine behind me recording was having trouble at full HD. It was down to about 7 or 8 frames a second through there. So during those periods of low frame rates between 7 and probably 10 frames a second where it was quite jerky on the Apple TV, I put in a few hard efforts to see if it would respond or it would be laggy through my efforts. It wasn't, it was fine. The power did come up even though the screen was jaggy, so it's only the display that's taking its time showing you what's on there. Apple TV Gen 4 isn't really a high-powered 3D gaming machine. It does struggle in complex situations such as the dust kicking up in a massive bunch, but it doesn't seem to impact the recording of the data or sending the Bluetooth power device to keep me moving along. So that was a good sign as well. If it had lagged me and put me out the back because of the processing, that would be a bit of trouble. So there we have it, a bit of a deeper dive into how Zwift on the Apple TV Gen 4 performs under high stress situations. In summary, quite low frame rates under certain circumstances. That is a big bunch with lots of textures and things happening on the screen, but only for short periods of time. But it doesn't impact your overall gaming experience. So if you can put up with a few jaggy frame rates for a while, it's a nice cheap solution to go with. Alrighty, thanks for watching.